Race number 4, the 1650-metre course is in use here in a field of 9. Glorious Artist, he was a winner last time he lined up at Happy Valley. The Rockers up £7 on that last start win over at Shah 10. Green Luck and Savaquin, they dead heated for second behind Zara in track record time last start. Highland Fortune ran second behind the Rocky, draws barrier 1 and comes to Happy Valley's 1650-metre start for the first time. And Magnificent, drawn barrier number 9, goes forward but carries £6 less than what he did last time. So it's a smallish field here, Tom, for the running of race number 4. What is the speed map going to tell us in the upcoming race?
Well, the speed in this race tells us it's probably likely to be good to slow, and as we see them here, the Rock going forward with the Magnificent. But we know Paul Magnificent certainly likes to lead. Is he possibly going to cross down in front of the Rock here?
I think he will. The Rock doesn't necessarily have to lead, but I think Magnificent, he has come from off the pace like in the trail once before. From his draw, I think they'll just keep going with him, otherwise he'll start pulling. The other one is California Rad, who's stepping up to 1650 for the first time. All his wins and everything have been over 1200, so I wonder if he'll be just slightly one place more forward as well. That could be a possibility as well.
Yeah, Green Luck's drawn barrier number 2. He races handy, and so Highland Fortune, well, he was quite handy last time out, and that seemed to suit him behind the Rock last time out, where he was only beaten 2 lengths. But prior to that, he has settled back sort of midfield in the past as Highland Fortune.
A lot of talk from the boys on the speed map around the pace angle of the race, and we saw the Rock lead from a wide gate at Shah 10 last time. The man that orchestrated that win was Chad Schofield. He rides again this week.
Chad, the Rock going round at Happy Valley in Class 2. He won from gate 14, dictated from the front. Was that the master plan yourself and Casper concocted before the race?
Yeah, it was. There didn't look a lot of speed on paper, and with the long run to the first turn, we thought we could overcome the draw by gradually coming across. We were left alone in front. I was able to dictate him nicely, and to the horse's credit, he showed a good burst of speed when I pressed the button, and it was a strong win.
Did it look like at the end of the back straight he just wanted to go a little bit quicker?
He's a big free rolling horse, so you don't want to go too slow on him. He's got a lovely big long action, and he likes to use that, so you don't want to restrain him too much.
Were you confident at the top of the straight, the way it travelled throughout, that he's going to produce a good strong kick at the end?
Yeah, as I said, he was very comfortable in front. He was travelling beautifully, and when I let him go, he found a good acceleration.
What about Happy Valley? We know he's placed there, but he's never been able to win there. But is it just a matter of time before he can snare a victory there?
I think so. He's racing in career best form. He's had a terrific season. He's coming off the back of a win. His confidence is high. He's got a lovely draw, and he should run well.
There's another pace influence in the race, Magnificent of Jimmy Tings. You wouldn't want to get in a speed battle with him. Would you let him go potentially, or do you need to lead? Well,
we'll see how he jumps. We've got good early speed, but obviously Magnificent is a high rolling horse himself. But we've got the inside draw, and we'll just have to assess when the gates open. But the Rock's shown he's versatile, and he's able to take a sit as well.
Do you expect again, Paul, this week they're all going to smell what the Rock is cooking?
Yeah, we've learned something actually. You've enlightened us there, Mark. Look, I've got him in the numbers. He's going so well at the moment, and he will be on the pace here on the C course. So I think he's definitely a legitimate chance.
Yeah, I think he's going really well at the moment. He seems to be holding his form. It's just a matter of time, I think, before he gets that win potentially Wednesday night at the Valley. But he's hard to discount the way he's racing at the moment.
We now move on to some of his opposition for this week. And in this race, Tom, we've got Green Luck and Savaquin. They dead heat for second here. Judge couldn't split them. Holy Heart and Magnificent. Of course, this was a 1650-metre track record.
Yeah, and I've always been a fan of Green Luck, and look, he was pretty good last time out. This, of course, behind Zari, went round at the weekend and didn't front up at Group 3 level. But I've always been a fan of Savaquin as well. He's had a good season. Course and distance, he's never finished worse than 4th. So I really like him in this race, Paul Savaquin. He's a horse that races well and racing well, and Zach Purton gets on board with him too. Yeah,
he's one of the leading chances, isn't he? And he's won a couple of times over the course here in distance, so I do like him as well. I think he's a good chance.
And of course, there's that little contest between John Size, Green Luck. John Size with Savaquin and Green Luck for Casper Founds as well. So there's the breakdown for that. What about Glorious Artist, Paul? This is way back in December, but it was his last run on the turf at Happy Valley, and he was a winner. Yeah,
and he was big odds here. He was over 50 to 1 from memory, and look, he won nicely enough. Look, he hasn't sort of raced on the turf once again since, so there is that little bit of a question mark. But look, there's some really seasoned turf performers here in this race.
Yeah, there's certainly horses that perform well week in, week out at Happy Valley. I've left him out, Glorious Artist.
Well, here he is again, Tom. This was a trip to Chungfa. King Shield, his stablemate, is in this, and this is on his preferred surface this trial.
Yeah, and you can see him giving chase here behind King Shield on this occasion. I thought he ran on fairly well in this recent barrier trial. Of course, he got tailed up last time out by Hong Kong Great, as too did the rest of the field. But there was quite a clump of horses there for the Miners because the winner absolutely hacked up. But he certainly was doing his best work late there in that trial.
Yeah, the trial was okay, and that's his preferred surface, isn't it?
So that's Glorious Artist, boys, thinking maybe wait till he gets back onto that. California Rad here, Tommy, goes out of a 1,200-metre trial up to the 1,650.
Yeah, I've got real question marks over 1,650 for this guy. He's up 23 pounds. He hasn't quite been in that same vein of form we saw him earlier in the season. You can see he's been pushed out a little bit in this recent trial. He did win it easy enough. Hard to get a line on some of these trials, Paul, at Chungfa, but he hasn't been in that same early form he was.
No, I'm a massive fan of the horse, as you know, but I just wonder, he hasn't raced for a while and he's stepping straight into 1,650. It was just a question mark against some of these really seasoned sort of 1,650 performances.
The horse he beat in that trial was Buddies, who went around in the Premier Cup on the weekend. So California Rad not on top for you, Paul.
No, look, I'm going to leave him out in this race, maybe at my peril, but just the 1,650 after a spell was a little bit of a worry. I'm going to go with Green Luck. This horse is very consistent. He won 3 starts ago, ran a nice third, and there was a track record time last time. The horse is in really good form at the moment. In fact, he ran second. He did heated, didn't he? So he's on top. Green Luck to beat Savaquin in there for second. He'll get back. He'll want a bit of pace on. I just don't know if he's going to get it in this race, but he'll hit the line strongly. Highland Fortune, like him, coming back to Happy Valley. His 2 wins have been over 1,200, but he was second over 16 last time, so the 1,650 should be fine. And the Rock has been very consistent and deserves his place as well. So 3, 5, 7 and 2.
Same 4 numbers, but just slightly a different order. I've always been a fan of Savaquin, and Zach Purton gets on well with the John Size trained galloper. He's had 3 rides aboard the horse for a win and 2 second placings. He was midfield wide at the 700, but I thought he kept on well last time out behind the Rock. So Savaquin on top certainly goes well course and distance, as too does Green Luck. He kept coming at the line behind Zarwin, beaten favourite last time out. The Rock goes in, well rated from the get-go there last start by Chad Schofield. And Highland Fortune, it seemed to suit him, the conditions last time out. Karis Teton gets aboard to him for Francis Lloyd. So 5, 3, 2 and 7.